Perusing the news with MattTaylorTV. I'm your host, Matt Taylor. It's 21 minutes past 9 on Wednesday, the 21st of February, 2024. I invite you all to join me as we look through the news. So, without any further ado, let's go over to Google. Just making sure we got all the settings straight. Perusing the news with MattTaylorTV. What have we got? We got Martha's Rule to be introduced at NHS hospitals from April. If anyone knows what Martha rules are, I would like to know too. Also from the BBC News website, Labour calls for immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza for the first time. That, in my view, is a major development. Clapham chemical attack. Panic on police faces as body of suspect found in. That was 9 hours ago. Alexei Navalny was killed by punch to the heart. UK nuclear missile test fails for second time in 8 years. And Gaza ceasefire resolution fails at UN as US issues sole veto. So let's go over to financial news and let's delve deeper into the UK nuclear missile test fails for second time in 8 years. Ministry of Defence says anomaly occurred during firing of Trident weapon in January. Anomaly, you say? Anomaly. Let's find out what this anomaly is, shall we? A British nuclear missile test failed after the Trident weapon crashed into the sea near to the submarine that fired it. That would have been very embarrassing, wouldn't it? Not only is it embarrassing enough that the missile test failed, it would have been even doubly embarrassing if the missile came back and blew up the submarine in which it was fired from. But anyway, I'm interjecting. A British nuclear missile test failed after the Trident weapon crashed into the sea near to the submarine that fired it, in another embarrassing flop after the UK's last trial launch also failed 8 years ago. The Ministry of Defence confirmed on Tuesday that an anomaly occurred during the latest test firing of a Trident II ballistic missile, which took place on January the 30th off the coast of Florida. It said Britain's nuclear deterrent remained safe, secure and effective. As a matter of national security, we cannot provide further information on this, added the Defence Ministry. However, we are confident that the anomaly was not event-specific, and therefore there are no implications for the reliability of the wider Trident missile systems and stockpile. Adding to the embarrassment, First Sea Lord Admiral Sir Ben Kay, or is it Key? I think it's Key. First Sea Lord Admiral Sir Ben Key and Defence Secretary Grant Shapps were on board HMS Vanguard to witness the test launch in January. The crew on the submarine had just performed their drills, and their Trident II missile, which was armed with dummy warheads, was propelled into the air with compressed gas in the launch tubes, according to the Sun newspaper, which first reported the story. But the missile's first stage boosters did not ignite, and the weapon crashed into the sea nearby. The Sun reported that it was understood that had the firing taken place on a real mission rather than under test conditions, it would have been successful. Ministers are expected to make a statement about what happened to the House of Commons on Wednesday. Despite the failed Trident launch, the Defence Ministry said it retained absolute confidence in the UK's nuclear deterrent. British officials said the Trident missile system was one of the most reliable weapons system in the world and had successfully completed 190 tests. The UK's last successful launch of a Trident missile took place in 2012. The 2016 Trident test failure was reportedly due to a problem with the data acquisition system that forced the missile's controllers to divert the weapon into the sea as a safety precaution. The latest failed test launch comes after SHAPS recently described the UK as being in a pre-war phase. Oh gosh, that's a bit worrying, isn't it? Yes, after decades of budget cuts, the readiness of Britain's armed forces is increasingly coming into question, most recently by the Commons Defence Committee. In a recent report, it said that the UK armed forces were overstretched and in a peer-to-peer conflict would exhaust their capabilities in a couple of months. In another recent mishap, one of the UK's two state-of-the-art aircraft carriers, HMS Queen Elizabeth, was kept back from participating in the largest NATO military exercise since the Cold War due to a malfunction with one of its propeller shafts. It was replaced by HMS Prince of Wales. HMS Vanguard is one of the 4 nuclear-powered submarines used by the UK to silently patrol the world's oceans and maintain the country's continuous nuclear deterrent. Commissioned into service in the mid-1990s, the Vanguard class submarines are due to be replaced with the next generation Dreadnought class in the 2030s. What an interesting state of affairs that is.